What's up, guys? We're gonna be taking a look at a program called RPG Maker Ace. Yeah. See, I can't even remember anymore. All right, let's find it here. I know it's somewhere around here. Don't judge me. Now I gotta remember what program company was made by. Do 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 do. Here we go. RPG Maker VX Ace, and what we're doing here is we're looking at an open project. Now, I haven't messed around with RPG Maker VX Ace, and that is mainly because I do not, more or less, I've been messing with RPG Maker VX, not Ace, because Ace is a little too new. I'm still waiting for a legit pirated copy, because, you know, why pay for it? Anyway, a little tutorial for you guys that might be interested in learning how to do this. You're going to start out with interface practically similar to this. If not, on this top toolbar, you will probably want to click Map/F5 on your keyboard. This will bring you into map editing mode. Now, we aren't gonna go too much in depth on map editing, okay? Now, map editing is basically your own version of how the game will look. This is something I cannot teach you because it's your preference on how you want to make the game look. Therefore, you know, there ain't much I can do for you in that aspect. So here, just a basic map I threw together. It's nothing too perfect. So we're gonna start with eventing. If you click F6, you'll go to switch to event editing mode. This character right here, if you started a brand new project, will be in this general area. You can move them around where you want the character to start. I'm just gonna leave it where he was found because this is once again a beginner tutorial. And I just want to run through the basics. Map editing, before we get more into that, is I want to tell you how to switch these to more map sets besides what you see here. You can have way more than just that. If you add a new map, you can press insert, but you can right click project 1 and you can click new map. You can also edit your map. By clicking map properties, you can open up this menu here. This menu will demonstrate what's basically going on here. You can change the map, start, and then display name, beginner. The display name is basically what's shown. You have tile sets here. You could change it from the world map to different tile sets. To this. This should open up to this right here. Yeah, this is a... Don't like it when it bugs out on me. Yeah, there we go. Where you can actually, you know, use more. This is more of a less of a world map tile set here. This is a, like a in-game map area for like dungeons and towns and stuff like that, where you can like create scenery such as, you know, fences, whatnot. You can like have that there, you know, you can put walls down, make it look nice. You know, the whole gist of the entire idea of map making is basically how you want to make the game look. Now, the only advice I'm going to give to you is make it look flush. You don't want anything to be blocky, ugly, you know, you don't want that. You want the game to look enjoyable. Now, these are with the standard tile sets that come with the game. If you're going to make a full-on, you know, your own game, generally you're going to have your own tile sets that you're going to sprite yourself and insert into the game. Now that's not a tutorial I can't do for you. I can't. Maybe in the future I'll show you how to import things into the game for customizing, but as far as getting to the point where you're getting into professional selling and retail games, you want to make sure that, you know, you get people to art that for you, that spread it for you. Unless you can do it yourself, then all the more better for you, you know. Anyway, so you know, the entire gist of map making, as I said, you when you load a new map or you change the map properties to how you want it, these are the settings. You got 1 to 4, but you can always add more. So you can also add a background parallax for transparent pieces in the map. So like if you add transparent blocks to the background, the parallax will fill that in. So like if you have a really high mountain but you want to have sky background, then what's going to happen is that parallax is going to show in the background. You can change the horizontal, vertical, and you can also show it so it displays in the map editor so you can see it. You can write little notes to yourself about how the game is, and then you can have encounters of enemies, which I will get into later. So first thing you want to do is go to event editing mode so I can explain some of these features in this. So you see there's a grid that comes up. This grid is my bad. This grid shows you where you can place events when the player touches these tiles. Since the game auto defaults as a block movement game, you'll understand block movement when the game starts. It's not going to be like pixel movement where you can be anywhere on the screen instead of just being predetermined squares where you move. So like if this player moves, he's only going to move 1 square over, 1 square over, 1 square over. When we get into testing mode or playtest mode, you'll see how that works. But anyway, I'm just going to put the event here. And I want to do a quick little hello world for you guys to understand how text boxes move. So in this interface you're going to have a new event ID 001. I'm going to change this to hello world. Now as cliche as using hello world, I'm just demonstrating how text box works, editing in-game like triggers and stuff like that. So under this you're going to have switch. Basically what switches do is like when you have a variable in game and you want it to when it's activated, when that switch is turned on, the events that rely on that to be turned on before the event can be activated allows it to run on predetermined areas. So like if you have a switch that's off but the requirement for the event to run has to be on, it will not run unless the switch is on. So like if we click switch and then under define switches you can like name a switch, and let's say this needs to be on. This will basically say that in order for this to work, this variable named 0001 has to be on in order for this event to run. You can have multiple switches too, to be honest. I did not know they had this feature in here. Variables. Variables are the equivalent of switches. However, what it does is instead of storing a value of 0 or 1 slash, if you're not a nerd, that's off and on, you can have number variables. Like you have to do a certain number of things before this event turns on. So like you need to talk to people, you need to gather that up. Therefore, you need to talk to 10 people, so you say 10 or greater. That means you've talked to those 10 people, and that variable will turn on. However, this is also predetermined set, so you actually have to name talk to people so you know which one is referring to. I highly recommend that you name these. Otherwise, you're going to be greatly confused through the process. Self switch. Self switch is basically A, B, C, or D, unless they added more than... Nope, yep, just A, B, C, or D. Our self switches only rely on the event ID itself. Since 001 is the event ID, this is only the self switches are gonna talk to. So like at one point in your list of event commands, you want to put self switch A is on, so you can go to a new event page, and you tell it if self switch B is on, then this event page will work. So let's just say if we go into let's just say self switch turns on In this script, this will cancel out and it will go straight to number 2 because self switch A is on. Therefore, this event will start to run. But that's not what we're going to be looking at this particular tutorial. Items. For example, you need a certain item in your inventory to have this variable activated. Once again, a new feature in Ace I did not know, but I can tell you right now what it does because, you know, I'm smart like that. So like you need a certain item in your inventory for this event to be activated. New feature, I like it. I might use it if I was ever going to make a game. I just use this to play around with. Actor. Also a new feature, if a certain actor is not present inside your party, it will not activate. Once again, another new feature, so it's more variables for you to activate events. It helps with making sure the game's fluid, so you don't have to worry about cluttering your variables, switch